Part C. Now let's look at the data elements collected at end date or end of year 1 and 2. Shown on the screen, you can see that the data report has columns or data elements that are marked end date, end of year. These end statuses are repeated in year 1 and year 2. And these columns will be visible or hidden depending on the program year. And so when you get your data report, you'll only see the year 1 columns to begin with. The way that the reporting will work is that for youth that have participation in a single program year, so for example, a youth that begins and ends participation in year 1, they'll just have these year 1 statuses completed. And then for a youth who starts in year 1, is active on the last day of program year 1, and continues into program year 2, you'll actually be reporting these end statuses in both year 1 and year 2 for those individual youth. In year 1, for their period of participation, you'll take their start date to June 30th. And for year 2, you'll take July 1 to their end date in year 2 for their period of participation for when you're reporting these end statuses. Okay, so we're going to take a look at some data templates which have been completed. So this illustrates a quarterly report, and what you'll notice here is that you only assign the end statuses to the youth who have exited programming in that 3-month reporting period. Okay. Here is an illustration of a quarter 4 or end of year 1 data report. You'll notice that the youth have start dates, and some have end dates, some have left, but others are still active. And at quarter 4, what you'll do is you will assign both active and inactive youth their end statuses. Okay. And here, moving on to quarter 8, here you can see that the youth have started with a start date, and end dates are assigned to both youth that left early or are still active on the last day of the program year. So everybody gets an end date in quarter 8. And similarly, in quarter 8, for the youth that left in year 1, their year 2 end statuses are grayed out. But for all active and inactive youth that had a day or more participation in year 2, you can see that all year 2 end statuses are completed here. Okay, so at this point, I'm going to switch my view, and let's go ahead and take a look at individual data elements that you collected end date or end of year. So first, made academic progress. This data element is asking, did the participant make academic progress as defined by either the youth earned high school credits on their transcript and or the youth passed an official GED exam during the program year. So only high school credits on transcripts or a GED exam or exams during the program year would be a yes for made academic progress. And please note that the youth can make those transcripted high school credits or pass that official GED exam at any point during the year for a yes on this data element. Next, we have active attendance status. And so this one is asking, did the youth attend high school completion program classes until the end of the year or until they completed a high school diploma or GED at any point during the year. And so here, you're not reporting detailed attendance. You will need to know if the youth is attending their school or program. And so, just to give a couple illustrations, you maybe will enroll a youth in June, and then you're reporting on their year one status before they've made a connection back to education. So, they haven't started their GED program yet. So, active attendance status would be no. You may have a youth that becomes inactive in February after they complete a diploma in January. So, because they completed a high school diploma during this year, then that would be a yes on active attendance status. Third example on your screen is that you have an individual youth that you know is attending their GED classes all the way through the end of spring term. And so then for active attendance status, that would be a yes. Okay, we're going to move on. Next, we have active program enrollment. This is asking, did the youth stay active in the re-engagement program? So did they continue to receive re-engagement services until the end of the year? So again, this is not asking anything about attendance. This is asking if they're receiving re-engagement services, if they're active in YDD funded re-engagement services. For returning grantees, you might think of this column as replacing the end status column. And it's really pretty simple. If the individual leaves at any point before the last program day of the year, so they cease receiving services, then it's going to be a no. If they're still active on the last program day of the year, then this will be a yes. Okay, so next we have three columns, and you can kind of think of these as snapshots. And so what we're asking is, what were these statuses on the use end date or at the end of the year? And so they may have been employed all throughout the year, but on their end date or they are not employed. So you would just grab that snapshot. That would be a no. And so the questions are, was the youth employed on their end date or at the end of the year? If they're active on the end of the year, were they enrolled in job training? Yes or no. Were they enrolled in post-secondary education? Yes or no. Note that these are all defined in the data manual. Be sure to reach out if you have any questions. And then finally, outcomes and gains. This is a select all that apply throughout the year. And this really kind of goes beyond just that academic progress. There's did the youth achieve a personal goal that they set? Did they strengthen their support network? And many other different options here. And so, what are the other outcomes and gains that the youth made while working with the re-engagement program throughout the year? Select all that apply on this element. So this concludes part C, and it also concludes our walkthrough. Thank you so much for watching, and please do reach out to us if you have any questions.